Miami picked up a big win at rival Florida State. Clemson Tigers get their first ACC win, and Virginia cannot be stopped in overtime.
You are Locked On ACC, your daily podcast on the Atlantic Coast Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Monday, and shout out to the everydayers. Thank you so much for making Locked On ACC your first listen. We're available free wherever you get your podcasts. We're free on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. He is Kenton Gibbs, former NC State defensive lineman and co-host of Locked On Wolfpack. I am Alex Donno, host of Locked On Canes, and today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download FanDuel today. We'll talk top 25 shakeups. We still have 4 ACC teams ranked. A little shuffle along the way. Some move up, some move down. We will talk about our Week 6 review for ACC football. And in case you missed the games on Saturday, really all you had to do was listen to Kenton Gibbs' picks last week. And he told you exactly what was going to happen. I don't think he got a single game wrong. Kenton, let's start with Miami, that went into hostile territory against Florida State. Florida State ranked 18th at the time. Miami ranked 3rd at the time. Those two rankings have changed. Both teams are still in the top 25. And, yeah, you got kind of what you expected from Ruben Bain, who had 11 pressures, which was more than Florida State's entire defense pressuring Carson Beck. Miami didn't give up a sack. Miami did, though, have some trouble running the football. Florida State was ready for that, but it's pick your poison with the Hurricanes, because if the running game isn't at its usual dominant level, what does Carson Beck do? Throws 4 touchdown passes. True freshman receiver Malachi Toney, 107 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns, had another touchdown taken off the board. This guy just turned 18 a couple weeks ago, Kenton Gibbs, and he's out there destroying defenses.
You know, this wide receiver core has been an absolute revelation for Miami. Nothing short of that. Nothing short. And it's been spearheaded by and large by Malachi Toney. He has been a guy that has shown up and shown out in critical spots. And I'll tell you what, Donno, if it was not for, I hate to say this, but it's the truth. If it was not for Miami taking their foot off the gas at the end there, This thing gets much worse. It is a little surprising to see the way that Miami struggles to put games away and run the ball effectively when teams know they're going to run, because that's the hallmark of a great running team. That's the hallmark of a real physical offensive line. When there's no mystique about what you're going to do, when it's, hey, it's me, it's you. I need 4 yards. I need 4 yards of rush, and we're going to be all right. And you go get your 4, that's when you know you're really getting it done. And Miami right now is not being able to do that. But credit to Miami, because when everything is on the table, when all the cards are in play, when they are saying, yeah, we can run the ball, sure, we can throw the ball as well. What you going to do about it? Carson Beck has looked fantastic. The running game is better because teams have to respect the passing as a threat. But it just, to me, this team is suffering from their own success a little bit in terms of you get up on teams and then it's like, all right, we've blown games before being too aggressive. So let's now dial it back to an extreme measure. And it's like, just be who you are, brother. Be who you are. And let the chips fall where they may, because in this game, Florida State did not belong in this game until the fourth quarter, when Miami said, all right, we're no longer Miami. We're now the 1972 Dolphins, and all we're going to do is run the ball. We don't have Mercury Morris. We don't got Larry Zonka, but all we're going to do is run the ball for the rest of the game. And that's just not when they're at their best.
Yeah, and so Miami's offense was no longer moving the football in the fourth quarter, and then I was equally, a little miffed at the defense, because they kept picking up personal fouls, Kenton. I mean, 3 15-yard penalties gave Florida State a bunch of extra yards and a bunch of extra plays in that fourth quarter. So it was a sloppy finish after what was a completely dominant, 3 quarters of action. Florida State, got back into it a little bit. You never felt like Miami was going to lose the game, but Florida State made it interesting. So on the Miami side, the finish was disappointing. Do you take anything like from the Florida State point of view, any moral victory that they were able to fight in the fourth quarter, or do you kind of just say, what, the result is the result? This team has lost 2 straight games.
The result is the result. This team has lost 2 straight games. I mean, objectively speaking, if you talk about what this Florida State team is, right? And this is why I say this all the time. Expectations are measured by your brand and who you are. With all due respect, that's how it is for everybody, right? And the reality is, if you're talking about a Florida State team that is a very recent ACC champion, undefeated playoff snub type of territory, if you're talking about a Florida State team that had Jameis Winston and Benjamin and company and won a national championship, and then participated in the first ever, the inaugural college football playoff, you're looking at a team that should be in a territory where you're not seeing these letdowns of multiple games. And yet here we are saying to ourselves, oh man, we've got multiple losses back to back here, but everything's going to be all right. Based on what? What? You can say, oh, Virginia is a really good team this year. They're better than they have been. Sure. They still lost to NC State. That's a thing that happened.
Yeah.
That's a real thing that happened. This Miami team, we were so close. Don't matter. You're not the type of school that does moral victories. And you should be proud of that. Florida State fans should be proud to say, we measure it in W's and L's. We measure it in rings. So if I'm a Miami fan, if I'm a Miami fan, I'm making fun of you. But if I'm a Florida State fan, I'm sitting here saying there's nothing to be happy about. There's nothing to celebrate because at the end of the day, last year we were on Norvell's tail because he lost a lot of football games. And what has he done in these last 2 games? Lost football games. So we can't sit here and pretend, oh, this is a whole different territory and everything's great now, because it's not.
Florida State is 1-9 in their last 10 ACC games, dating back the last 2 seasons. I still think Florida State is one of the better teams in the ACC, but now already being 2 conference losses behind the 8 ball. Same can be said for Clemson, of course, even though they won this week. Being 0-2 in the ACC means you need a lot of help. I mean, last year, Kenton, the 2 teams that played in the ACC championship game, Clemson had 1 conference loss and SMU had 0 conference losses. So 0-2 already, or 1-2 in Clemson's case. It's going to be very hard to get to the ACC championship game. Before we talk about the rest of the Week 6 results, we take a look at the updated AP rankings. Miami moves up 1 spot to number 2. Florida State stays ranked despite the loss. They're number 25 now. They fell 7 spots from number 18. Virginia, who gets another overtime win, this time on the road at Louisville. We'll talk about that one. UVA moves up to number 19. Georgia Tech had a bye week, but they are still rightfully ranked at number 13. So the ACC has 4 teams in the mix right now. And Kenton, a lot of folks would say that, Miami actually has the best resume right now in college football. Having road win against Florida State, home win against Notre Dame, a win against USF, who is ranked again. They were 18th when Miami beat them. A win against Florida, who just beat Texas. Whereas Ohio State's best win so far this season is against Texas, who just lost to Florida. But for me, though, I'm perfectly okay with Miami being number 2. Because to me, I look at Ohio State as the defending champs. They've had some impressive performances, even if the resume may not be as good as Miami's. And I'm fine with Ohio State being number 1 until or unless they lose a game. So I will not complain about Miami being number 2.
I'm just sick of you, Donno. I'm just sick and tired of you. Oh, I'm not going to complain about my team being number 2 in America.
Hey, NC State just won. They beat the mighty Campbell.
Camels. That team, Donno, fun fact about the Campbell Camels. I've got 10 nephews and nieces, and I want to say all of them except the last 5 are older than the Campbell Camels football program. Okay. Oh, wow. That's a true fact there.
Are they really called the Camels? I didn't even know.
Yeah, they're the Camels.
I didn't watch the game.
In the middle of North Carolina, somehow they came up with the Camels. I don't know how they did it, but here we are. So, that's, but Donno, number 2 ain't bad. Number 2 ain't bad, and both teams have a lot of time left in this season. If any team has a reason to kind of look around and say, well, wait a minute, why don't we deserve more love? It would be Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is a team that is undefeated, that has beaten multiple Power 4 teams, and they have not gotten the love of any other Power 4 teams that meet those same criteria in terms of, all they have done is beaten everybody who's in front of them. You could say they got a lot of help. Sure, you could say it. But, how many teams on this list have not had a call or 2 go their way in a major moment in the game where it's like, well, you know. So, I mean, I Miami at number 2, you know, I wouldn't be too upset if I was them.
No.
Number 1, number 2, it's the middle of the season, a lot of football left, a lot of time to still climb, and a lot of time to still fall. So there's not really much to be said there. But Georgia Tech, don't give them the Rodney Dangerfield treatment. Give them their damn respect.
I agree. We'll talk about some of the other big results, including the Virginia Cavaliers. You want to talk about 2 clutch victories in a row. And this was a really good weekend for Kenton because everyone in the Bill Belichick coaching tree was just humiliated. Chapel Bill, humiliated. Chestnut Bill, humiliated. You want to keep it locked right here. We are only getting started on this brand new episode of Locked On ACC. Oh, folks, we are only getting started with Peloton. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. It is their most advanced equipment yet, designed to give you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or cross-training with your favorite instructors. This is training reimagined. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools that help you plan, stay motivated, and reach peak performance. I love how Peloton IQ system offers real-time strength coaching. It actually tracks your reps, suggests right weights, and corrects your form, making it every rep safer and smarter. The swivel screen is a game changer. You can go from running on the Tread Plus to strength training without missing a beat. So let yourself run, lift, flex, and push forward. Explore the new Peloton Cross-Training Tread Plus today at onepeloton.com. Thank you so much for making Locked On ACC your first listen. For your next listen, make sure you check out our other shows. Kenton Gibbs and Grayson Boone host Locked On Wolfpack, covering all things NC State. I learned today that Campbell's mascot are the Camels. This is the sort of stuff you can only learn from Locked On Wolfpack with Kenton and Grayson. You could follow me at Locked On Canes. We obviously been talking a lot about Miami's win against the Florida State Seminoles. So, you know, Kenton, here was another game you got right. I thought that Louisville would win at home against Virginia. They probably should have won at home against Virginia, given how that game played out. But UVA gets their second straight overtime finish. This time it only took 4 offensive plays in overtime and 1 overtime, not 2, for Virginia to get that 30-27 victory. Jamar Taylor takes a direct snap for the game-winning touchdown in the OT. But for me, on the Louisville side, the story has been just awful turnovers, Kenton. They have a fumble that goes the other way for a touchdown, and Miller Moss throws a pick 6, which to me, and I know that there was, like, I guess a little bit of, you know, wondering, did the officials get it right? Was his knee down or was his elbow down? But he's getting sacked, like he's either on the ground or about to hit the ground, and he tries to make a desperation throw that gets taken for a touchdown the other way. Like, you can't have your quarterback doing that. Like, sometimes it is okay to take a sack. And this is not the first pick 6 Miller Moss has thrown this year. He has been an absolute roller coaster to watch this season.
Donno, this is not just a Miller Moss problem. This is a Louisville whole team problem. What do I mean by that? They are putting this young man in situations that he probably was not expecting to be in. You talk about the fact that nobody is probably a bigger Isaac Brown fan than me. Well, I'm not just an Isaac Brown fan. I'm a fan of that duo. And the duo is him and Duke Watson. They combined for 68 yards on 14 carries. Is that ever going to get it done? Is that ever going to get it done? 3 receptions for 12 yards between the two. You're looking at a situation where last year a running game that was uber effective has been meh. It's had its moments. It's been so-so. There's been some good. There's been some bad. But now you're relying upon Miller to carry you in shootouts, which is not – I don't think he's that guy. I don't think that he'll ever be that guy. And I get it. 30 points in overtime is not exactly super shootout. We're asking you to score 1,000 points a game territory, but you still get my point. I don't think he played a terrible game. I do think that call, very controversial, could have been one way or the other, but you have to rely on a senior to be a senior and say, you know what? I'm going to eat this sack. I'm going to just eat this sack and we'll be okay, as opposed to just trying something to try it. Everybody's not Pat Mahomes. Everybody's not Lamar Jackson. Everybody's not Josh Allen. Sometimes it's all right to just take that sack and just we get up and play the next play. So the worst thing about this, the part that concerns me if I'm a Louisville fan, this wasn't their game where they forgot to play football. This wasn't it. That's the only thing I got wrong this weekend, because there's always a game where we're like, who is this team and what have they done with Louisville? This wasn't that. This was a poor performance. Don't get me wrong, but this was a poor performance that's been in line with the things that we've already seen from Louisville. If I'm on the UVA side, how about them Who's? How about them Who's, Donno? This team is probably rolling on the highest of highs. And we've talked ad nauseum about the circumstances that Coach Elliott has been up against. We talked about some unprecedented tragedies that happened while he was the coach there and how that bought him extra time. Well, the administration now looks like geniuses for keeping him, don't they?
That's right.
I mean, one of your first top 5 wins or top 10 wins in forever, and you're ranked for the first time in a very long time. If he finishes out this season stably, I'm not even saying Elliott has to go out and maintain this type of streak. If he just finishes this season without everything falling apart, he's bought himself at least 2 more years. And he's bought himself a place in UVA history, because, again, what a performance by this team. They keep fighting. They keep scrapping. This is a team. Everything doesn't have to go right. Did Chandler Morris play a great game of football? No. He played all right. Yeah. Did their running back, Taylor, did he play a great game of football? No, he played all right. We've seen him be better. But you know what this team did? They were scrappy, and they found a way. And that's what good teams do. Even when you're not on your A game, even when your quarterback's a little bit off, running game's a little bit off, defense ain't exactly what they should be, everybody's always going to figure it out. This defense that's been much maligned, multiple times, they're taking the ball the other way for 6. You've got to celebrate that and love it.
Yeah, and Virginia has already equaled their win total from last season. 5 wins in their first 6 games. So, yeah, I agree with you. Tony Elliott, who entered the season possibly on the hot seat, has probably already bought himself some time. We'll see how the season finishes out. I assume they win at least a few more games, though, this year. And Louisville falls to 0-1 in ACC play so far. Louisville's defense has been balling. Their offense just has been a roller coaster so far this year. So moving on, Kenton, another one, you could have seen this one coming. Pittsburgh blowing out Boston College, but I don't think we saw it coming the way that it happened. So Pittsburgh, they officially announced a quarterback change right before the game. Eli Holstein, who unfortunately for him looks like a different guy from the ACC, almost weekly rookie of the week last year. They bench Eli Holstein for freshman Mason Henschel, who goes out there and throws for 323 yards and 4 touchdowns in his first collegiate start. Des Reed did not play for the second straight week, and Pittsburgh's offense still does that. Now, Boston College is not good. I'm not pretending they're good. But for Pittsburgh to have Reed out, to have a first-time starting quarterback who's a freshman, and to blow out Bill O'Brien 48-7, that's an impressive result. And so far, so good. Pitt is looking better now since turning the page on the Holstein era.
You know, they are looking good, but I'm concerned not because of the, turn the page on the Holstein era. Boston College is worse than people realize. And I don't think that a lot of people are fully accepting of that yet. I have said this all along. Bill O'Brien is a horrible coach, but it goes beyond him being a bad coach at this point, because now we're looking at a team that objectively, let me ask you this, Donno. Can you name me any Boston College player that you think is going to be playing in the NFL next year? Anyone?
No, I can name you a handful of accountants.
Me and Donno are both football sickos, and we do not look at this roster and say like, I guarantee you come week 1, that guy is going to be on somebody's roster.
Hold on. What day of the week does CFL games play? Do they play on Sundays as well, or Saturday? I can see Dylan Lonergan getting to like the Edmonton Eskimos or something.
But that's my point, Donno. That's my point. We're talking about potential Saskatchewan Rough Riders. That's what we're talking about right now. Toronto Argonauts. We're not talking about potential Detroit Lions. We're not talking about potential Miami Dolphins. We're not talking about potential Atlanta Falcons. This team is there. I mean, and it hurts to say, it really hurts to say, especially after he was just wrong about a potential field storming. But was Thomas Castellanos right about being the only athlete on the field here? because they look god-awful. They look so bad. And I want to ask you this, Donno. What is Boston College good at right now? If you had to say they do this at an average or above level in comparison with other college football teams, what would you say?
Passing stats. That's
Okay.
about it.
Okay, Dylan Lonergan.
Honestly.
That's it. And Dylan Lonergan, you said, looks like what is it? Hamilton Tiger Cat? That's what you said he is. You said he looks like a CFL guy. So I'm deeply concerned about this team. And credit to Pitt. They showed up and they dominated an inferior team as you're supposed to do. But I'm deeply concerned about Boston College because where do they go from here? What does up look like from here for Boston College?
Yeah. Well, when we come back, we just had a near historic coaching matchup between Dabo Swinney, multiple-time collegiate national championship winning head coach, and Bill Belichick, 6-time Super Bowl winner. I think only one of them showed up, though, on Saturday. You want to keep it locked right here. We are not done yet on this brand new episode of Locked On ACC. Guys, this episode is brought to you by Square. Your favorite neighborhood spots run on Square. There are certain businesses that make the neighborhood the neighborhood. These are the places that become an extension of home. Whether it's the sports bar dedicated to your team's fan base, the spot with the best wings on game day, or that beloved local chain that's been rooted in your community for years. These businesses are what bring people together. When neighborhood businesses thrive, the whole neighborhood thrives. Guys, I love when the sports, not the sports books, I love when the food trucks, sports books, I'm thinking about FanDuel. We'll talk about them in a second. I love when the food trucks get together in my neighborhood, whether it's the tacos, the Philly cheesesteaks, the enchiladas, my goodness. And all of these businesses, guys, are running on Square. Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. You can go to square.com/go/lockedoncollege to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy you did. Square. We'll see you in the neighborhood. We're also proudly brought to you by FanDuel. College football in full swing. So is the NFL. And FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Guys, I love how FanDuel gives me so many ways to play. I've built the parlays. I've tried player props, even follow the live lines during games. It makes watching football even more exciting when you've got a little something riding on the action. Whether you're a casual fan or you love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Thank you for making Locked On ACC your first listen. He is Kenton Gibbs from Locked On Wolfpack. I am Alex Donno from Locked On Canes. So, Kent, this is always an awkward question to ask when, you know, a head coach is 5 games into his tenure at a college program. But, like, do you have any hope for the Bill Belichick regime at North Carolina? Like, I guess there's a certain amount of grace. And I say this, I don't want to be a hypocrite because I'm a Miami fan, and I went through, you know, the first year of the Mario Cristobal era where they lost to Middle Tennessee State that year. A lot of roster turnover. They went 5-7. So do I need to give Bill Belichick the same grace that I gave to Mario Cristobal? But North Carolina, in the 3 games that they've played against Power 4 opponents, have not been competitive whatsoever. They just lost to a Clemson team who had been struggling this year. Didn't look like it on Saturday. Clemson goes out there. Cade Klubnik throws 4 touchdown passes. The Tigers beat the Tar Heels in Chapel Hill 38-10. I don't even think the game was even that close.
All the other coaches that we talk about that have looked god-awful in year one, they have not had certain advantages that have worked to the favor of Bill Belichick. I mean, let's look at this, right? They got the hope for this team is getting a new head coach and getting a new regime. I'm sorry to tell you, when you look at the head coach and you say, wow, he's awful, but you know what? It may not be him. It may be our defensive coordinator. Well, who's the defensive coordinator related to? He's the head coach's son. Well, you know what? We are particularly bad on defense, but when it comes to stopping the run, we're bad. When it comes to stopping the pass, we're even worse. Well, at least we could get rid of a DB coach. He's just a position. Oh, he's the head coach's son too. Well, you know what? Maybe we're not as good at stopping the run as we thought. Maybe we can get rid of our linebackers. Oh, he's the head coach's former player. Yeah. I don't know. This is unserious from top to bottom. We are looking at a situation where we are talking about a team that has one of the worst net EPA, estimated points added, in college football history. By far worse than anybody else in the true transfer portal era, where we have no restrictions on player movement, so you can bring in your guys. You bring in your guys and you still stink. You're terrible. You're not even close to fielding a decent team. So, I mean, if there's hope, I guess, Donno, they did have Ludacris perform at 10 in the morning, right?
I heard about that. They kept talking about it on the broadcast over and over.
So where else can you hear stand up while you're eating your crepes and your French toast? That's the hope for this team, because there is no hope in terms of this team being exponentially better. Can they be better than what they are? I mean, you can't get worse than this. And I'm not joking. You quite literally, as a Power 5 coach, cannot get worse than what they're putting out. So can it get better? Will it get better? It has to. Because, again, you're not going to have an unserious clown show running the show in Chapel Hill for much longer.
Yeah, so that was Clemson 38-10 against North Carolina. A couple of other games of note. SMU, who was very uneven in non-conference play, but the Mustangs opened up their conference schedule at home against Syracuse, and they pick up a 31-18 win. By the way, you nailed this one as well, Kenton, because you said it would come down to the quarterback matchup. Kevin Jennings was very good on the SMU side. Ricky Collins is a problem for Syracuse. And again, I still, I don't believe that the quarterback competition was as close as they claimed it was between he and Steve Angeli, because since Angeli, whose season ended a couple of weeks ago, he's been out with the torn Achilles. Ricky Collins has not been good. He throws 3 interceptions in this one, KG.
Yeah, Ricky Collins was absolutely terrible in this one. And like I've said all along, if your quarterback is good, you don't bring in a second to compete with him in spring. Point blank, period. And at the end of the day, Kevin Jennings did what we expected Kevin Jennings to do. And at times this season, he's made some plays that have been a little questionable and disappointing. But at no point at all have we said, Ricky Collins looks like the guy. He looks like he's going to lead this Syracuse team as effectively as Angeli was doing it, or as effectively as McCord did it last year. He hasn't looked like that at any point in time.
All right, and then the other one, which, again, you were on the nose with this one as well. True freshman starting quarterback going up against a Manny Diaz defense. Duke beats Cal on the road 45-21, ACC after dark. JKS, Cal's really exciting young quarterback, throws 3 interceptions to his 1 touchdown. Darian Mensah on the Duke side, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and 265 yards. Kenton, this game was close until it wasn't. It was 21-21 at one point, but then one team kept scoring and the other team didn't. It ends up being an easy night for Duke, who's now 3-0, tied atop the ACC.
It hurts my heart, Donno. It hurts my heart to have been right about this one, because, again, those fans don't really show up. They don't really show out for Duke, and I really, really wanted JKS and the boys to pull off the upset here. Kendrick Raphael and the guys, I wanted them to pull off the upset. But, we know who Manny Diaz is. We know when he sees freshmen, he sees good eats. He sees those ham hocks. He sees those oxtails. He sees those neck bones. He sees those good greens. Okay, he sees that baked macaroni. The scrape the knife across. That's what he sees. He sees some good eating. And that's what it was in this one for him. It's really disappointing, and I would hope that the Duke fans show up for this team, because, again, you have a great team. You have a wonderful team. Darian Mensah and this offense have figured it out. I predicted before the season the NC State game will be where they figure it out offensively, and that turns out to have very clearly have been the game. If you disagree with me, I'll simply say this. Before the NC State game, they had a turnover in each and every game. In each and every game, including against Elon. Guess how many they've had since then, Donno?
0?
Correct. In 3 games. 3 games since they played NC State, 0 turnovers. So I'm not saying that, this Duke team is a super team that can't be stopped or anything like that, but I am saying offensively they haven't figured out. Defensively, they're coming along. And it's always going to help out if you got a Manny Diaz coach defense going up against a guy that was slow dancing at prom last year. That's always going to be a tough situation there. So more credit to Duke and their offense rolling and figuring it out. Cal, it's okay. There's a future for you all. There's an upward trajectory for you all. Just keep at it. Keep at it with JKS. Don't let him get his confidence rattled by this game. You play one of the better defenses and one of the better defensive minds in all of college football. You'll be all right, brother.
Well, keep it locked this week to Locked On ACC. We'll talk a little hoops later this week because starting here today, ACC tip-off in Charlotte, previewing basketball season. We'll talk plenty more football because you got Week 7 games coming up. So we'll talk to you again next time. He is Kenton Gibbs from Locked On Wolfpack. I am Alex Donno from Locked On Canes. Until next time on another episode of Locked On ACC, we are part of the awesome Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.